Tafawa Balewa in Operation Wetia is unforgivable.
Please, was it the one?
It is hold on. Let me finish. No, Olumoni, let me finish. Olumoni, let me finish.
You that don't respect your own leader, Akintola, that you say you should.
Let me.
Uncle, I'm tired of you interrupting.
Akutuku, Akintola, Kadafun. Do you understand? Akutuku, Akintola. You see, when you lead the killings of your people for your selfish gains, you deserve to be in hell. And Akintola deserves to be in hell. Do you understand? So make no mistake to call Akintola my leader. Akintola is not my leader. He has never been my leader. History is clear. I don't hate the North. And you saying, oh, I ask for people. You see, you guys are stupid. Doing all this fake things that you've been doing, or saying, oh, you asked for contract. Please tell me the one person I've asked for contract from. But I remain, my position last year is my position this year. And it is guided by the historical information we have. Akintola, for his selfish gain, even told the Yorubas that if you do not vote me, I would get in. Because he had the power of the center, led by Tafawa Balewa. That was the genesis, that was the fulcrum of Operation Wetia. And you want me to forgive that? When you put my people in pains, and you think that's forgivable, and you call Akintola's name, may he die 2 times over.
I have a list. It's just been centered on the number of people in our past history. We want to move forward.
Yes. I'm listening to Enyi. What did you want to say?
Bro, Enyi has been speaking now. Please. I have to your mic.
Calm down.
Mute your mic.
Calm down. I'll tell you to calm down 5 minutes right now. Go on, Enyi.
I have a list of Igbo people that have been killed in this so-called Nigeria since 1945 till at least 2012.
So what would that list happen to us now?
There are 29 or 28 separate incidences, incidents rather, where Igbo people have been massacred. Since 1945, coming from Jos down to Kano again, Maduguri, Jimeta, Gombe, Zaria, Kaduna, Bauchi, Katsina, Kano again, 1991, Zalkataf, is plenty. Is plenty. When people like Kenkobo come here and put towards 4 Igbo people, 4 Igbo people on their own did against certain persons. But now come and use that to justify all the atrocities. And let me remind you that before this, he's saying that Sadama was killed and the pregnant woman, whatever. Don't forget that even our own deaths, our own killings, even precedes this one, at least 2 or 3. At least 2 or 3. Even after that, it has continued. It has not stopped. But for some reason, I will keep going back there. I don't know why. It continues. But if you now ask him, okay, he said that, see what he even said. Come and hear this fucking bigot. See what he said. That the reason that what happened in 1945 happened to Ebos was because Azikiwe tried to join Nigeria together. That's what he's justifying.
1948, as it be 1948 to 1945.
But see, that is why that's what he's saying. No, sorry. That's why he's justifying the killings of my people. Look at him. He's justifying the killing of my people. Because as if we try to bring the knots together. If I ask him for a link, but he cannot provide. Okay, he said that you don't see just Ojuku and other Nigerian army to go and kill. If you ask him for a link, he cannot provide it. Because if you are talking, you have to back it up. If you are talking, you have to back it up. With proof. Back it up with proof. Let us know what you are saying. You cannot just come and just drop a statement without proof. You have to back it up properly. I would.
No,
Okay, so wait, can I talk now?
Babatunde, 1 second. I think it's Victor. Victor has been trying to speak.
Yeah, thank you.
But before, hang on, we're not going to engage in any of this history anymore. For one, it's not fruitful. Two, anyone with any basic knowledge of history, as Njenje was showing, can clearly see that the killings, atrocities, and deaths done against the Ebos and other Southerners by the North, compared to those done against the Northerners, specifically Fulani and Hausa, by us Ebos or Southerners, is not comparable. It's not comparable whatsoever. People are saying, "Oh, I need to be fair." I am being fair, right? There's no fairness in oppression. There's no two sides in oppression, and it's clear who's being oppressed. So all this one of, I'm not being a fair moderator. I'm sorry. This is as fair as it gets, especially as I am Igbo. So I'm not going to pretend with you, you know. It doesn't compare. So don't come here and be justifying, you know, ethnically cleansing, pogroming, genociding people because one woman, you know, was killed in a coup. That's just nonsense and stupidity to me. But Victor, please.
Right. I think I would like to move us back to the previous discourse. Except also to say that yes, there's a way in which people are rooted in the past, and they teach some of these things, and some of what you are hearing is part of what breeds violence, because some people have this mindset and they want to get back. And in terms of national integration, yes, there's a way to which some of these background noises need to be purged, because some people major on them and recruit I would say some weak people based on this wrong side of history or wrong teaching of history. So it's important, but we should not major on it. We need to move forward in terms of what the future holds, what will structurally improve our country. And on this, I want to point out something about go back to what Shango said, because I wanted to respond since then. He made a lot of good points, I have to admit. But in saying that the problem we have is not leadership, I will only agree to the extent that he says, it's a system. Okay? Because I am somebody who goes for, when you say there's a problem, I say, what's the root cause of the problem? That's the best thing to do. Like, if there's a problem, look for the root cause of the problem. Because if you are trying to solve just the details and the things on the surface, you're not solving the problem. It's still going to, whatever is generating it will still continue. So when you say what's the root cause of the problem, I go for, in terms of leaders, I say the way we appoint leaders. And then also, what's the root cause of that, of the way we appoint leaders? So you can go, I would say money in politics and things like that. If you say the system, I agree with you in a way, but then how is the system going to change? Even if you were to actually say, here's a Yoruba group, here's an Igbo group, they're still going to have leaders. That's what it is in our psyche. They're still going to have leaders, and within those groups, they're going to fractionalize themselves into different communities. and that becomes an issue as well. So basically, I am someone who really think that instead of having all of these, battles that we have in terms of, say we want structure and whatever, let's see what have changed right now and how can we change it. If I had my way, I would say we should not even practice a democracy. But so many people will find that to be absurd, But it looks like it's built into our psyche. Because that is what there's so many people who are, entrenched in this. And but in a way, if I ask the question, who has democracy benefited? Which country has moved from a third world into a fourth world based on democracy? Democracy has not benefited Nigeria. In a way, it's a bit silly to be arguing against democracy because it's so entrenched, it's not going to change. But left to me, this was something else that I agree with in terms of what Uncle said, talked about meritocracy, But what happens with democracy is just basically the most popular person gets the votes. You can have somebody who has a lot of merit. You can have, let me even say, I'm not saying the professor is necessarily a good administrator, but let's say you had a professor that was so knowledgeable, and was a good administrator. I had one like that when I was at the University of Benin, Professor Adamu Baike. I used to think as a young man, when Nigeria is looking for leaders, here's somebody. This guy was excellent. He had such an information network. If he was ruling and there was a Boko Haram, he would have known as soon as they started to form. He would have known because he had a fantastic information network. Yes, you could say that was within the university structure, but he would have carried out the same thing. He would have implemented the same thing on a national level. And I used to really think, wow, here is a great man, and Nigeria is looking for leaders. But if that guy had run, he would not have gotten enough votes because Nigerians vote for names, the people they know. And the names of the people we know in Nigeria, unfortunately, are those people who have stolen our money, those people who have ruled, those people who have governed. Those are the names that are, those are the names that are popular. Nigeria and democracy is ruled by popularity, not ruled by meritocracy. If we were to set a system up that says, oh, let's get the Ukudro Welas, let's get the additionals, the Nigerian line, Gulesi, that runs Gatwick Airport. And there's so many Nigerian people that are successful, both in Nigeria and in diaspora, that actually, have created businesses, that have developed communities. There are some people that have integrity. If we were to get those people together and say, look, you guys, come together, get subject matter experts, get them together, let people bring their CVs, and let's get a trusted pool of people that you guys form government, and you are going to form people into local government areas and this and that, but based on interviewing them. This is how big industries succeed. This is how big industries are made. From CV, or what in America is called resume. You interview them, you check and validate what they have there, and you put people who are responsible into positions to govern. Why do we have to take somebody else's system? Why do we have to take this democracy and die with it? It's just talk, no action. It's not getting us anywhere. So I think that yes, we need a restructuring. We need to change the way we're governed. To start with, it's so stupid that we've taken the system, the American system, and the most important thing, they say, oh, this guy is an executive president. But instead of being saddled with so many things, let the states have autonomy. And so we have not given autonomy to the states. We've not given regional autonomy, but we are looking for a president who is going to do, everything. Nobody has that kind of power. Nobody has that kind of wisdom. So yes, I agree the systems will change, but it's leaders who are going to change the system. Unless you have thought about a way by which you can evolve where the people come together and they can change the system. But I don't think that kind of place is Nigeria right now, because if you look at where the people change the system in a way, when if you go back to Europe and you think about how the Soviet Union, they're having problems right now, right from about 1989, between 1989 and 1991, a lot of these states fought against communism. But what did they do? They came out in numbers. A few people came out. Where was the first place? It wasn't Poland. I forgot it. A few people came out. They killed some of them. In the next day or two, millions of people came out on the streets. Not Nigeria. You go look at what happened with endsars. People don't want to die. If Nigerians, if we will revolt against this current government and come out and in millions, then the people that next time people go into politics, they will not go into politics because they want money, they want fame. People who go into politics must be made to go into politics because they want to serve. And until we, the people, hold them responsible, or we go in ourselves, we get our voters card, we make our votes count. I live in the US, I'm planning to be in Nigeria to vote. So until we, the people, make them responsible and say they're accountable, rather, they set up structures of accountability and say that you guys have to be accountable for what you do. For monies that you are given, you are supposed to build electricity, you have been given money, show us from time to time we want to see an improvement. Until we, the people who do that, rather than because with somebody with money we begin to respect them, irrespective of how they make the money, rather than we have a charade in the system that we call elections, where, indirect primaries, where it's something that goes to the highest bidder, the delegates, they bid and bid and bid and bid, they give money to the delegates, and then the highest person, the richest person wins, and the richest person, by the way, in most cases has stolen the money. This is why what I mean by the people who are the elite in Nigeria, the people who are in the political class, they're only after their pockets. Mostly after their pockets. Until we change that system, let nobody begin to talk to me about, how, if we form, we should secede and all that. It's not a good reason to secede, because if we secede, we will have the same. If we don't change that culture, we will have the same problems. So the problem is the culture of corruption. That is still, someone said, I don't think that's the problem. That the problem is, it's more of, I think you want a system. It's not even leadership. No, the problem is, yes, the system is wrong, but it's the leaders that will actually, it's good leaders that will build a system that is sensible. And I will just finish with this. I just wish that we can choose people in Nigeria who have integrity, who have achieved a lot, as well as community people. They don't have to be that rich. People who have shown interest in building communities, bring them together, let them govern. Let them govern. Give them 15 years. But monitor them. Don't just leave them. Monitor them, set milestones, monitor them from time to time, and see them perform. Then by the time they build some infrastructure, by the time they build, when I mean infrastructure, I'm talking about both in terms of the ministries, in terms of government, in terms of companies, in terms of industry. By the time they build formidable infrastructure, then we have something that we can sit, we can, even the people will now begin to demand, that if somebody wants to change that good functioning infrastructure, the people will speak out. But now the people don't even have any model of what is right, and everything that seems to pervade the society is corruption, and it's destroying us. Nobody wins. I yield.
The mods, Will and Simi, please. Some brother sent me a back channel that he was taken down. Can you bring him back up, please?
No, absolutely not. Not here to engage in nonsense.
Is that Will?
Revisionist historicity. Yes, this is Will.
Okay.
Will,
I'm
am I
here to engage in nonsense revisionist historicity just because Northerners don't want to accept their crimes.
Yeah, but are we having a one-sided conversation here?
As I said before, you got into this room. There is no two sides to oppression. There is the oppressor, and there are the oppressed.
And what makes you think it's just one side that is oppressed?
Yeah, because all the stats, all the data, all the history is there for anyone to see. So if you want to go and be patting yourselves in the back,
if you notice, I'm just beside you. If you PTR, because I've been here long enough as well.
Yeah, I saw your PTR. I'm not. What do you want me to react about this?
You could have your one-sided conversation.
If you want to feel better about yourself as a Northerner, I'm sure you have plenty of Arawa.
No, listen, Will. I believe I've been here. If you want, you don't have to bring brother up. But there's no one-sided story here.
There's
no oppressor and oppressed. If you get this, please.
There are no two sides.
Because I believe I was here in this room before you, so I understand how this thing started.
I've been here in this room before anybody else.
Okay.
Because I started arguing with one of your brothers. So don't
let you. Yes, speak now, please.
Baba Sunday, we can't hear you, Jari.
I said, may I speak now, please? Yeah, can
I also please put on queue, please? Thank you.
Man, please, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on, but
we can't hear you. Will, can you hear him?
I think we can hear him. It's your network. You can hear him loud and clear.
Yeah,
Will, can you hear him?
Hang on. Before you go, who on the stage, other than Babatunde, hasn't spoken yet?
I please put me on the queue. I have not spoken.
Banks has been here for ages. He has not said the words.
Yeah, put me on the queue as well. Ayman.
Okay. So it's Babatunde, Ayman, K-Tex, and Emmanuel. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Will. Well, I would like to start my submission by speaking to my brother Olabode. See, Olabode, I know you. I mean, despite our ideological, differences, I know you to be a smart person, an intelligent person, and as a result, honestly speaking, I wouldn't have expected you to utter some of the statements you uttered. Honestly, and I'm saying this not to actually vilify you or to actually, speak ill of you, but the point is, I believe, many of us have attained some status, and because of the status we have attained, certain things should not be heard from us. You see, I understand how many people feel, but the truth will always remain the truth. And let me say something. You see, as infamous Nnamdi Kanu is today, as infamous as it might seem to many of us, because for me as a person, I do not like him. To me, he's a riffraff. He's a non-entity. But, despite my...
You are very stupid to call him a non-entity. You are an animal to call him that.
What they calm down? Look what their supreme leader non-entity again, I beg.
You are a big goat and a pig to call him that, idiot.
Okay, I don't hear you, Emmanuel. Thank you. So, as infamous as the guy might seem to many of us, I believe no sensible government will actually, do anything that will lead to his demise, because they understand the concomitant effects of Kanu's demise, and because of that, nobody will dare do that. So the point is very simple. I am not here to actually support the various reprisals that happened post 1960 military coup. But the point is, some persons dared, to a particular region, so to say, were killed insensately. And as a result of that, we had many reprisals. And I think, honestly speaking, in my honest opinion, we should have moved past, should the coup plotters be killed or not? We should have moved past it. And as a matter of fact, I am not going to engage anybody on whether they should have been killed or not. The fact is, the various coups happened, and some of those coups, set us backward. And here we are now today, practicing democracy. I believe, honestly speaking, if we are to even look back, it should be to actually, learn one or two things from our mistakes and, actually see what we can do to actually, give ourselves a utopia that we all desire, so to say. So I will not actually subscribe to some statements you made, Olabode. I'm my brother, and I know what you are fighting for. I'm a Yoruba man, but honestly speaking, some of those statements shouldn't have been made by you. I understand. Also, I listened to what some of the things said by Tenkobo. Honestly speaking, I mean, like, without holding back, I will criticize some of those things he said, because honestly speaking, we need to be, to be sensitive. We all need to be sensible also with our submissions. And we understand the fact that, we should have understood the fact that certain things should not even be said by us. Like, no, that statement, I know you said it to Sardana and you said it to, one of our leaders, so to say, despite the fact that, I did not even, or I have never cited people who believe in Akintola's policies and whatnot. I will not, actually say Atukutuku, Akintola, no, I will not do that. So the point is, these people played it the way they felt they should play it. And here we are today, and we are more exposed, we are more educated, we are more civilized, so to say. And we all understand the peculiarities of our times and seasons. So I think we should try as much as possible to refrain from, some of the statements we make. And with respect to the Operation Wet here that you even talked about, see, there's something called Tikule. We Yorubas, we are blessed with proverbs, and we are blessed with, many maxims. We have many maxims that we actually project, or we use to actually, substantiate our submission. And the validity, and the validity of those maxims, to an extent, has not been questioned, has never been questioned. And one of those maxims says, "Tikwile obak pani to do ole pani." We refer to the Operation Wet here. Our people actually, abetted that. And if you are to even blame anybody for that unfortunate incident, our people should carry the blame. Our people should carry the blame. Saudana should not carry the blame. Tafawa Balewa should not carry the blame, because as we are now, Olabode, I believe no Hausa man or no Igbo man will instigate you to a point that you will take up a gun and start shooting or killing your people. I know you fully well that you will not instigate any sort of, conflagration amongst your people because you love your people. So the point is, we sold ourselves, at various points and times, so to say, and we actually, bequeathed with the consequences of our sellouts. So here we are talking about, a possibility of something good for us again, and many people are doing their usual sellout again. So the point is, let us be careful. There are so many of these things. So the country or the polity is overheated already. And there's really no point eating up the polity, honestly speaking. There's really no point in doing that. Whoever has made Fulani statement, honestly speaking, try as much as possible to either retract your Fulani statement, or you apologize, or if you're not even ready to apologize to anybody in this room, going forward, let us be circumspect, honestly speaking. Let us be circumspect. I can come here and insult anybody, but I will not insult a race. I will not insult a tribe. I will not do that. It is dangerous. Let us be careful with what we say. Many people will go to the chat room now. Many people have called me all sort of, they've tagged me all sort of unsavory epithets. But I've taken it in my stride, because I know that many of them are not exposed. Many of them are vacuous. Many of them are superficial. Many of them are myopic in nature. And will I be expending my energy on, engaging this non-entity? No, I will not do that. I come to your room, I engage you because I know that you are someone who has got, a proven intellectual capacity. Please, Olabode, I beg you in the name of God, don't use to provocation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I beg you. Please, guys. John Tozo. Okay, so Abdul Wasiu, I thank you. And I want to say,
please try to keep it short.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. Abdul Wasiu, I thank you. No, Olumole, I thank you. And you said it right when you said we are on different sides of the spectrum. And I understand what you say when you say some statements shouldn't be made. But you see, people push some things out of you. When you want to be respectful, they push some things out of you. You see, a man coming here to flagrantly distort history is not someone I want to engage with in a civil manner. A flagrant distortion of history, lying in the face of facts. Listen, we can agree that on several points, everybody in Nigeria has offended the other person. I can yield to that. That's a superior position of knowledge, right? And I can say, hey, let's, ignore some of the things we've done in the past and seek ways forward. That's fine. But erasure of historical events or distortion of historical event is calling the other set of people foolish. And that I cannot yield to. You see, don't do that. So, yes, I appreciate where you're coming from when you say, okay, some of the words I made, some of the statements I made may have been, harsh, provocative, whatever you want to call it. I can yield to that and say, yes, I agree. And, maybe I should have coined my ways of speaking better. But in the face of deliberate attempt to distort history, to distort facts, to lie, then you have no choice but to attack it with the much needed venom that it needs to be attacked with. You see, so I get how you feel as a Yoruba man, and later we can have this conversation in the later future and talk about it. But I'm saying if everybody comes to this table, let them come with clean hands. We can all appreciate that different sets of people have offended the other side, and we can talk about it. But if you want to grandstand in the public forum, trust me, you would meet venom. And you don't have the monopoly of madness. Like forget the thought of the thinking of our forefathers. We are not like them. We'll meet you at the point of your madness, and we'll meet you with equal level of madness. Best believe that. Thank you.
Thank you, Olabode. Who are the remaining 3 people? I think that we're supposed to speak. Mutabaraka, you were supposed to speak, I think.
Okay, I wanted to respond since, but the network was so bad. Hello, are you with me?
Yes.
Please, there was a guy that was just mentioning that in Lagos, I see a situation whereby some group of people prayed in the different mosques. They doesn't want to join and pray in the Yoruba mosque, right?
Yes.
So the attention, I want to draw his attention. I want to draw his attention to something, and he portrayed himself. He is claiming that he is a Muslim, but I'm not sure if he is truly a Muslim. But in Islam, we have different sects. Hold on.
No, you hold on. You hold on. Because 3, if even 4 different Muslims came up here and said the same thing. Several Christians even said the same thing.
No,
hidden sort of thing.
No. Hold on. No. You want to capitalize on what he said. No, I just want to clear. Look, I just want to clear.
Listen.
I just want to clear here on what somebody that portrays himself a Muslim is saying. Because look, as a follower of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he clearly said that there is no superiority. Look, there is no Arab have no superiority over non-Arab.
My friend, no, I'm not.
Hold on, let me just allow me to talk.
I know what the Quran says.
So you agree with all he has said?
No. What I'm saying. Don't.
So allow me to say my own point of view.
Let you speak. All I'm saying, don't come here and say that. Oh, I'm not sure if this person is a Muslim because they have a view that disagrees with yours. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. But go on, clarify.
It's all right. Thank you. It's okay. So in Islam, we have different sects. And when you look at the entire Yoruba, the southern Muslims, most of them, there's what they call Tariqatu Tijaniya. They are followers of Abu Enyas. And in the north, we have Sunni, we have Shiite, we have Salafis, and Qadiriya. So, but all those people, sometimes you see that a Muslim is same Muslims, but they are praying in the different mosques. That does not mean that they do not even value the other people that are praying in the other mosques. The same thing when you go to Christianity, there are other churches that people participate and pray, and they cannot follow the other ones and participate and pray in their own in their own church. So that will not be an excuse to just come out of to the clubhouse to say that the Muslims, the northern Muslims, doesn't even value or respect, or they are still degrading the southern Yoruba Muslims. Because in our hadith, I clearly tell you that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there is no Arab have no superiority over non-Arab, while non-Arab have no superiority over Arab, and white have no superiority over black, and black have no superiority over Arab. So as such, only by their piety and good work and good action. So that is where the superiority exists. Look, if you know all these things, you cannot come out to mention that the entire north are looking at Yoruba Muslims at this thing. That's very, very wrong. And another important thing he's always mentioning is that he says that their ethnicity first before their religion. Let me give him a reference. Go and read the press statement by Nemorik about the Yoruba nation. He clearly says that if the Yoruba nation is going to exist, there are some certain criteria of the Yoruba Muslims have to be fulfilled before they will agree to follow them. So you see where their own interest. He is talking about his own interest, but he don't talk about the interests of others. So to clear the air that all you are saying is false, but then there is nothing like that existed in Islam. We pray everywhere, every Muslims, every mosque, regardless of whether Yoruba or Igbo, and anywhere that we wanted to pray, we pray. We don't have that discrimination. Thank you very much.
See, sorry, there are two. Sorry, look about it, right?
Abdullah, let you speak. One second, just because I need to clarify this for the 5,000th time. The Bible also says I shouldn't use God's name in vain. We all know how many Christians do that habitually. Just because the Quran says something that Muslims shouldn't do, doesn't mean that Muslims still won't sin and still won't, and still won't err. No one said that all Muslims do this, but the idea that you're saying that because this is in the Quran, that no Muslim is doing this, is just kind of absurd. I'm sorry.
There are two.
There is no exist. We have not seen it. Yes. Praying in the different modes is a sexual issue. It's a sexual issue.
Oh my God.
There's a problem with the solution.
Abdul, I'll let you speak. Yeah? And Mutabrika, this is the last time I'm addressing you. I'm going to address people. But several people have come in and testified this already. My grandmother has told me this. My mother has told me this. Many other Nigerian Muslims have told me this. So stop, stop this that it doesn't exist. People know it exists, right? So
okay, can I go now?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think Mutabaruka, maybe you go back to your submission and get something corrected. So when you see many of the Southwestern Muslim are Tijaniya, and when you go to the north and you say Sunni, I don't know. Maybe Tijaniya is not different from Sunni. I don't know. But the reality is that I don't think, as I said earlier, it is not something that is even too important. If you pray behind somebody or you don't pray behind somebody, you pray in a mosque, you don't pray in a mosque, it's not really a very important thing. See, you understand me? That's one. Number two, right? I don't think you should be using Morik. You'll be citing Morik for anything in the Southwest. You understand me? So it's more complex than that. So a lot of us, we believe that Nigeria as a country will work well together, but there are some narratives that we don't like to push. The Yorubas, they have the right. People can say they are Yoruba first. It's not in your place to decide for them. You understand me? So people can say, people can say they are Muslim first. It is their prerogative to identify the way they want to identify. So I think the reason why this is problematic is the way people other than Yorubas are pushing these narratives of, there are Yoruba Muslims who are subordinate to northern Muslims, because most of the people who are pushing these narratives are either people from the southeastern part of the country or people from the north. But the reality is that, the way Yorubas say religion is different from these two other people. That doesn't make Yorubas to be, fake Muslims. And if it is what some people believe in, is their belief, they can believe whatever thing they want to believe in. But the reality is that what I want to really talk about is the way when Mr. Victor, he said something about, getting the right people in place. I think there's a misconception when we talk about quota system in Nigeria. The belief is that, there's a quota system in place because the North cannot compete with the West or with the South. As a result, they need to be, quota to allow Northerners to compete. So as a result, the people coming from the North who are beneficiary of this quota system are either poorly educated or not qualified for the job. Now, the reality is that the problem is not even quota system. The problem is nepotism. The problem is that when you see a lot of people shouting, I'm a supporter of APC. I supported this administration, but there are times I have questioned some of the appointment of this administration. I've seen a pattern. So what you see is that it's not, even if the government follows quota system, what you get from quota system is that you get equal representation across the 36 states in Nigeria. So for example, if you want to have a permanent secretary, there are positions that will be opened up to every state. Every state we have a quota in ministers. Every state has quotas. Positions in the civil service, every state has quota. So the belief is that where this thing is coming from is most of the narrative you see is that these guys, they are getting positions that they are not qualified for. But the question is, was there any exam, or any process that was put in place to check if these guys are really good enough? Because during the Jonathan era, the Yorubas were shouting, we're completely sidelined by the Jonathan's government. And the same people who are shouting today to say that Nigeria is not following merit, were laughing, they were happy because the Jonathan government favors themselves. At that time, they forgot about quota system because the quota system was beneficiary to themselves. So the reality is that because of the kind of government we practice, there will always be problem of nepotism, and there will always be agitations by the three ethnic nationalities to be in control. So the question is, how do you limit this issue? And that is why I agree when people come up with the notions of what I call restructuring. But the thing is this, is what restructuring now means to a lot of people. So when people talk about restructuring, I had Enyi earlier when he was talking about, he wants Nigeria to go back to the 60. The only reason why he wants Nigeria to go back to the 60 because of the guy he cited. He said Aburi, and I've had Aburi talk on so many occasions. The only reason why Aburi wants Nigeria to go back to the way it was in the 60s was because of the fact that the crude oil producing states were in the whole eastern region, and that is the only reason. So the question is, the whole eastern region is down. They own the oil. Most of the oil wells are in the eastern, the southern part of the country. They have that right to want to have an identity for themselves. the different states in the region or in Nigeria, they also have the right to want to hold on to whatever advantage they think they have. So for you to say the system is bad simply because you want the system to be, you want the country to be reconfigured back to when you were in charge or when you had the advantage to be in charge of other people's resources and wealth is a bit hypocritical. So the reality is that if you take the frequencies of educated people or intelligent people, you will see that there are always outliers. The normal distributions, you have a lot of people who are not so bright. They are the norms in every country. So, and when you have democracy will always be a government of the people, for the people. So it's going to be a popularity contest. So most of the time, the most popular candidate will always be the leader. So the question is, what better system of government can you have in place? You cannot say because democracy will always turn out to bring the most popular candidate to say you want a dictatorship or an authoritarian kind of government. Because the reality is that who is now going to be the leader? Would you want a Yoruba man to be an authoritarian or a dictator over yourself? Or would the North want an Igbo leader, or would the South want an Hausa leader? So the reality is that when you look at the whole arrangement, you will see that it is easier to say, okay, let us just divide the country and we go a separate way. But the reality is that Nigeria is already a sovereign state. It has a government, and that government will want to protect the structural integrity, irrespective of the ethnicity of the person that is the president and his cabinet member. They have that constitutional right to protect Nigeria as a state. So how do you come into a middle ground? How can we have a country where the different ethnic nationalities will coexist without a problem? The answer is yes. So all this narrative of, because I was triggered when the guy came up, he was saying, the people that should be the problem are Southerners themselves, Southerners who are saboteur. And I know where it's going. The Southerners who are saboteur are people who see things differently. They don't see things from a point of view. They see Nigeria from a different perspective. They've understood the regional government. They know the merit and the demerit of the regional government. And they now have a system in place where resources come from the Niger Delta and Lagos, obviously. And they believe that all the other states in Nigeria are just feeding bottle. So how do we make this other state to be functional? How do we make Nigeria as a country to be functional as a whole? So you cannot on one hand, that is just my own submission here, you cannot on one hand say or point fingers at other people, because they don't really believe or they don't see reason in what you believe in. And, thinking that your own belief is the default and everybody should believe in what you believe in. So, and that is where the problem is. So, in a nutshell, right, the Northerners, they have that right to have a hero. If they are Sadana, if Sadana of Sokoto is their hero, it is their hero. To me, he's not my hero. Awolowo is obviously my hero. I've had people talk about Awolowo in ways that I find problematic, and these guys are Southerners. But at a point, when I get more educated, I read more books, I understand their point of view, where they are coming from. So it is not my own responsibility to force them to see Awolowo in the same light I'm seeing Awolowo, the same way that we cannot force Northerners to see Sadana of Sokoto or Tafa Balewa the same way we see them. We see these guys because of the fact that they were agitating, they were in competition for power with the leaders, the people we consider to be heroes. And the same way the Northerners see our leaders is the same way we see their leader. So we have to have a middle ground here. Nigeria will always be a country for now. So how do you make best use of what you have? We can talk about restructuring, we can talk about so many of these things that will make the country better. But this conversation we need to be respectful of one another, because if you just come out to talk about people in a certain way, those people they have the right to talk about you in other ways. So, this to me is just so many unnecessary arguments most of the time. Who is a better Muslim? Who is this? Who is that? I don't care. I can be anything. I don't care. Be what you want to be. Let me be what I want to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Emmanuel, I don't think you had the chance to speak. So
I've not spoken.
Yeah, and I think after him is Kitex, and I don't think anyone else.
All right, thank you. Well, I just came on stage because of two people. Well, one of them has gone. I think he's Osigwe or whatever they call him, or whatever he calls himself, and the Babatunde. So these are the two guys, and then Abdul, just to respond to three of them. Anyway, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I just want to set a boundary to people like Babatunde, although this guy, what was his name? Abdul Wasi just touched on that. Yes, I don't know what you believe, yeah? To me and to some millions of Ebos, Nnamdi Kanu, yeah? He's our savior, he's our God. People in the north, they believe in Muhammad, and he's within their right. Nobody will question that, yeah? So do not come on stage here to insult the integrity of people that believe in somebody. Yeah, you are preaching for unity. You are preaching for one Nigeria, that people should respect others. Yeah, please have it at the back of your mind. Certain things you say about certain people. Yeah, to us, Nnamdi Kanu is our God. Yeah, we don't care what you believe. We can debate day and night. I will tell you why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is our God, and you cannot win me. I'll give you facts and evidence. Yeah, so that is by the way. Now, Abdul Wazir, I've been on stage with Aboy. Yeah, when you want to mention people's ideology, please be honest. Aboy going for regional government is not because of Niger Delta resources. That is fact. Ebos have their own national resources, but that is not even the reason why we want our own country. And the Biafra that Aburi is champion, and that I myself is champion, and other Ebos are champion, is Biafra of only Igbo speaking extract. Have that at the back of your mind, so that when some of you come here and say things that you know nothing about, so when you're dishing out information, dish out facts. Yeah, so Igbos have their own natural resources, but it is not even what we want. If we even have a way, we can package all the national resources and give it to you, or even to not let them take the natural resources. We don't even need it. It is not our problem. Yeah. Now there's something that Mr. Omo said, and you tweaked it. He said that something that that the reason why they moved away for regional government is because some part in the West wanted state creation. No, you can still have regional government in the West and still have your state. You can still have Western region as a nation and still have your state, whereby Ondo or the state that you mentioned can still control the resources. You don't just come here and say things that you think that people know nothing about. Anyway, well, I'm not going to go into that in detail, but the fact is this: for Igbos that are clamoring for that want to leave Nigeria, yes, we can have our nation, and then we can still have state. If we want to do it that way, we can still have province. So it doesn't matter. Now, I'll talk about a bit about the Muslim stuff that about about Muslims are allowed to worship in a different mosques or this. I'll talk a bit on that. Listen, we all know Nigeria, and we all know the mentality of average Muslim in Nigeria. It is fact. In fact, the academic journal that I'm just scanning through now for my for one of my models is even talking about issues with Muslims, you know, how radical they are. It's a foreign journal. In fact, it's even a coincidence. It's not even me. I just want to get the point that I need for me to put on my assignment. I just saw it here. But the point I want to draw from this is this. We know that average Muslims in Nigeria are, most of them from the north, and are radical. The killings, we all know the killings. It's all coming from there. It's not something that we can deny. But I'm not a Muslim to talk about if Yoruba Muslims are allowed to worship in certain mosques. I don't know anything about that, but what we all know is the mindset of average northern Muslim, and is even seen among their political elite. Do you want me to mention most of them? When they talk, you know the kind of stuff that they say. These are political leaders in the north. So it is not something that somebody will come here and try to water it down that it doesn't happen. You need to tell yourself the truth. How many killings have we had in Nigeria, and how many killings are coming from this region? Every little thing they will tell, oh, you need to be careful. I did my youth service in Kano. The first thing they told us that, please, never you discuss politics, never you discuss religion. My years in Kano was always on high alert. So please, let us give evidence, give facts the way it is, but not to paint it. Now, on a general note, have you asked yourself, why do Ebos want to leave Nigeria? No. So you think that Ebos will wake up tomorrow and say, no, I want to leave Nigeria? I was a strong believer of one Nigeria. I believed in Nigeria. I wanted one Nigeria. In the past, I said, come on, why are we killing ourselves? The Biafra war is over. The Niger Delta, the oil, come on, let's forget about all these things. We are all one. Let's move Nigeria one. This was my belief. I said, yes, I know we lost millions of people in the Biafra war. It is okay. It is war. Let's forget about it. Let's move on. This was my belief in the past. Have you asked yourself, why did I suddenly change? You don't just come and say things without understanding the root cause. I believe we are all educated. We all know the root cause of the problem in Nigeria. And you want Ebos to keep quiet? Okay, if we believe in one Nigeria, tell me why on earth that Aba in the Eastern region will not be like Japan. That the development will not even come from Igbo. It will come from federal government. Tell me why on earth will Igbos be begging for second Niger bridge? And when we say, they say, oh, that Jonathan, when he was in power, why didn't he do that? Nigeria is not fair. You know, when some of you talk, I'm like, what kind of mindset do you people have? Are you people just so evil that you play politics in everything? Building second Niger bridge is not something about politics. When you support this party, they will do it for you. Or when you support this party, they will develop Aba. No! There are things that you don't play politics with. There are things that is natural. The way Buhari built dry seaport in Kaduna, the way they constructed the railway to Niger, that's the way it should be. So, are you telling me that if Igbos have seaport, have international airport, the way they have in the north and the west, do you think that Igbos we want to leave Nigeria? Do you think that if we have the kind of direct investment that we have in the north and the west in Igbo land, do you think that Igbos we want to leave Nigeria? Tell yourself the simple truth. All of you are here lying, saying, let's go and play politics. Is it politics that will give you second Niger bridge? Is it politics that will build Aba? It is not politics. It is called it is called inclusiveness. It is called one Nigeria, because we know that some region or some state have comparative advantage. Because of that, then these amenities, this is due. We need to build this in this area for us to maximize, for us to make profit, for us to build the country. Some of you here will say, oh no, you need to participate in politics for you to get seaport, for you to build, to have second Niger bridge, and you call yourself educated. It's politics, it's casting your vote that will get all these things in the eastern region. And some of you will say, oh, we come here and we rant. Let me tell you something, eh? I've said it so many times. The jet that we fly, the aeroplane, you know, the breakthroughs are made possible by human thinking. Millions of people are thinking. Millions of Ebos are thinking. Of course, I know other tribes are thinking. The Yorubas, the Fulani, the Fulani, they are thinking. Yes, we are ranting. But just have this at the back of your mind. Everybody is thinking. And there's one a successful businessman in the UK. The man said that one attribute of being successful in life is for you to think. In the ability to think. You think until it hurts. Because it's when you think that you bring out the best idea that you use to do something. I will leave this into some people that say, oh, we come here to rant. No, maybe some people come here to rant, but some people come here to engage. Some people come here to learn. Some people come here to go and think. But what I want to say to some of you is that, you see, Nigeria, I can bet everything humanly possible. Nigeria can never move on. It is impossible because there is no love, because there is no unity. You can't tell me to forget today, forget what happened yesterday and move on today. When you have not settled what happened yesterday, it's not going to work. If you want peace, if you want equity, then we need to resolve issues. We need to sit on a round table. Some of you saying, oh, restoration to us, it means something different. And this is what people from the south are saying, that no, it means that first of all, they should go and restructure the local government. That is not what people are talking about. You know the nitty-gritty of restructuring. What it means that every region, what you have, you control it. You have your state police. You have your own law. If you want to speak Hausa or Yoruba or Igbo in your region, you speak it. That is the restructuring that we want. Confederation. You develop at your own pace. And some of you will come here and say, oh, that you should go and hold your state governor. Oh, that you should go and restructure the local government. And that is the ranting coming from the federal government just to confuse people. And some of you that are educated, you believe in that nonsense coming from your attorney general saying, oh, that the state are coming for state administration, but let them go and sort the local government out. And some of you that are educated, you believe in that nonsense. But you know the kind of restoration that we want.
Emmanuel, I agree, but we have to let's try to hurry up, you know.
I will just stand up. Is Nigeria moving well? No, it is not. But let me put these facts before I leave. The statement that Buhari made, your presidency made, that why Nigerians are not accepted is because they are criminals. I cannot understand where it's coming from. Why? Because most Nigerians in abroad are Southern Nigerians. They do everything humanly possible to survive. Yes. I do not support bad thing. People doing bad thing to survive is wrong. I see where it's coming from. So some of us here, the Southerners, you people should be able to understand the bigger picture. The man is insulting us. And some of you will say, no, it's all right. Then the Northerners, when they study abroad, they come back to Nigeria. And most of them, they study on scholarship. I can give you an example. And when they come back, they get all the juicy jobs in Nigeria. We Southerners, when we're in abroad, we do all sorts to survive. And why are they not helping Nigerians in Ukraine? Because most of them are settlers, and some of them could be Ebos, and they'll say, oh, they are IPOB, they want to leave Nigeria. You see how myopic this government is. Okay, if they are IPOBs, why not make them to believe in one Nigeria? You think force will you the one Nigeria you want? It's not going to happen. Because now the youth are aware. Now we are politically aware. Now the Ebos are politically aware. And this is coming from the younger generation. Enough of this rubbish is enough. Because we cannot live in this kind of country called Nigeria. It's disrespectful. Nigeria is an evil creation that we must leave that country. That's my case.
Thank you, Emmanuel. That was very well said.
I speak now. I see you skipped me, even though people have called your attention that has been here.
Thanks. I beg. Stop complaining. If you want to talk. Don't whine. Don't be baby.
No whining. Don't talk to me like that. If you are moderating, it doesn't mean you don't respect people.
I'll talk to you
okay?
Once. So stop crying. Beg.
Who's crying?
I don't know who made this will more self.
Why are you moderating like you are just talking? You don't even know who you are talking to. You just talk to people anyhow.
Thanks, I don't care.
You're just talking to people anyhow. Is that the way to moderate? Let me talk.
I don't care who you are.
Hold on. I don't care who you are too. Thank you. Let me just give my submission and go.
Macnoon, go and talk in the audience. Banks, go on, or you can join Macnoon.
Okay, cool. I've listened to people speak on this stage, and all I can just notice is, in all that I have gathered, is there's a lot of hate, dispassionate sentiments from different people. And so I believe some of these sentiments have reasonable bearing. However, when we want to be objective, it is good that we analyze things critically and speak and assess things from the point of rationale. Not just coming and saying that some people have been marginalized while others have been slaves, and the notion that one part of the country has always been dominating is false. There are some parts of this country that have not even gotten a shot at the center, and they are not crying foul the way even those who are crying foul are crying. So I think maybe one of the reasons why we're having this conversation is probably because the government have stopped teaching history, so that people will know their genesis and how Nigeria has transcended up to this point that we are. And I find it very, very, very repugnant for somebody to call you a slave, and you stand aloof and believe that that person who is calling you a slave is doing you a better service or saying things in your light. If I come to your house and call your mom or your dad a slave, if I didn't face you to call you a slave, you also are being called a slave. So I don't understand how people will just come, insult others, make narrations that are one-sided, and everybody will just applaud because that person is saying things from that sentimental angle that you want to listen to. We all agree that Nigeria has a problem. Whether you are an Hausa, Igbo, Fulani, Yoruba, every one of us know that there's a problem in this country. And will cessation or balkanization solve that problem? No. Because before you say you want to solve the problem, you should have tested the solution to see that that solution indeed has solved the problem in other regions before you can say, for real, this will solve the problem. And for somebody coming and saying that Aba market was not developed because the federal government did not interfere or didn't do what they need to do, that's why Aba market is not developing. It's an aberration.
Sorry, I didn't say Aba market. I said Aba because of technology. Get your point, my friend. I didn't say market. I said Aba because of technology.
Please, can I talk?
Go on.
Now, when you say that somebody is not investing in your territory, that you want people to invest in your territory, or when people invest in your territory is when you feel you're part of the country. Did you ask yourself for once why people are not investing in that territory? Do you ask yourself the question? Do you think an investor will come to your land if they feel their investments will not be protected? Do you think they are fools? No. An Igbo man won't come to Lagos to come and invest in one real estate property or do all sorts, or in Ogun State or in Ibadan, if it doesn't feel that his property and interest will be protected. So get it straight. If anybody needs to work on yourself, you need to work on yourself. It's not a matter of everybody will be crying foul and say, I'm being marginalized, I'm being this, I'm being that. Yet, you go to other regions, you live in other countries, you see how things work. And yet you say you are being marginalized. Are there no Igbo people in the southwest, in the north central, in the northeast, doing businesses? Don't they do businesses in those regions? Now, for an Igbo man now, let me be practical with you. With what is going on in the southeast, for all those that are agitating and calling somebody their savior, go with your savior. Let's continue with your savior. If the savior will save you, go with him. Because I don't see a reason why you say, a region, I do a business. You are asking me to not open my business. A legitimate business, not like I stole. If you use the apparatus of whatever Zionist group or whatever agenda that you guys are fostering, if you use that apparatus to come after politicians that are not representing your interest, that would have been a formidable cause. But you go, you are disrupting, giving people who are struggling to live on whatever they earn, telling them to sit at home, to do all sorts, beating them up if they differ, and you call that person and praising the person, and yet you want to blame the entire nation for that your rule. Shame on you. Are you the man?
Please, can I respond to this guy? Because the guy just spoke like a baby that has not seen him.
You can never do
No. I need to respond to him because I was just talking rubbish.
I'm beyond your wavelength.
Try to be quick. Try to be quick. You're the last person to speak. And I'm going to give a close.
Let me respond to it. You see how myopic and shallow-minded that some people will be. The issue that is happening in the southeast, when did it start? What caused it? There's what we call cause and effect. Something must have made something to happen. When I said about an eastern region, yeah, the development that federal government has brought to other regions, did they consult anybody? We are talking about the federal government developing certain regions that have comparative advantage. This is something that should be covered in the budget. That is what I'm driving at. What makes somebody intelligent is when somebody says something, know where that person is going, not for you to cut and say what doesn't make sense. When did Nnamdi Kanu start? When did sit at home start? We don't know peaceful when your government started killing them. You won't mention that. Of course, man, there are certain areas that I don't support Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, I've said it so many times, but it is not the point. I understand why that man is doing what he's doing. Some of you here will come and just say trash without saying the nitty-gritty what made it to happen. So you think that Ebos are stupid to support him? Do you know the people that support him? You come here and talk trash. You don't understand where we're coming from.
Who is suffering for the sit at home?
People, when did sit at home start?
Who is suffering? I'm asking you a direct question.
Yeah,
who is suffering for?
Listen, it is none of your business.
This 100 years you like nobody will
listen. Is none of your business. Nigeria gave us £20, but look at us today. Listen, Igbos are not stupid. You know that. So you saying who is suffering? It's none of your business. Yes, people will say, oh, we should have held our own state government, our own governors accountable. Listen, we are not stupid. As I said, yes, there are a few areas that I don't agree with IPOB. Yes, but I will not demonize him. Never. You need to understand where we are coming from. Yes, I talk the way I talk because Nigeria has made us to do so. Everybody to their tent. This is Nigeria. There is nothing like one Nigeria. Give me what they have in the West. Give me what they have in the North. Do you think that this will happen? What, have you asked yourself why there are so many Ebos in the West? Because of the facilities there. Do we have the seaport? Do you think that if you have seaport or international airport, do you think that Ebos will not develop that region?
You can't have seaport.
I thought that
you can't have.
Let him finish talking.
Enough.
Finish talking, God.
So you use it because of what is happening today to say, oh, because of MSC Taton, nobody wants to invest in the East. Come on, man, look at how myopic you are. What is happening now? And it's caused by Buhari killing people at random. You don't even mention that. And you want me to share a country with people that think the way you think?
Thank you, Emmanuel. And me, I'm going to give my closing remarks on all that was discussed. First of all, earlier, because this was frequently mentioned, right? About some of the unequal treatment between northern and southern Muslims. There's a link. Someone back-channeled me. I posted it here. You can read it. I'm not going to comment on that again. Make whatever decision you want on it. Me, I'm not going to lie. I'm an Igbo person, and I'm a staunch separatist. I staunchly support Nnamdi Kanu, and I staunchly support IPOB. Though, obviously, most like Emmanuel, it's not everything they do that I necessarily agree with. We come in here, right, and listening to all these what about this arguments, which seem to be the only real arguments, right, that people in this One Nigeria camp have, is frankly embarrassing. You know, someone asked earlier, why isn't there more investments in the East? Why aren't people coming to the East to invest? Well, I mean, that's kind of hard to do when you have a security situation that the federal government, who of course, you know, controls the security apparatuses, has failed to address time and time again. If anything, they've actually made it worse, you know, with the reckless support of groups like Miati Allah and their Fulani herdsmen. And then you want to be blaming the Easterners for this. For what? We also see, you know, again, Constantly. People always trying to tokenize and what's about. The number of people that have come onto this stage and said, but Shabi, you get problem now for Delta. My own mother is from the Delta. Warrior woman. Still, despite that, staunchly support IPOB. That being said, like many rational-minded Igbo people, we recognize that the Delta people are different than us. Their quest for ethnic separation is different than our quest. And we respect that ultimately, whichever way they go, it's not for us to decide and it's not for us to control. And many Igbos in the Delta will tell you the exact same thing I'm saying. You know, and for you to come here and be saying that, please mute yourself. For you guys to be coming here and saying that, but you guys don't get along. As if to forget how complicit the federal government is in even the problems that the Delta is having right now. How many gallons of oil flow daily in polluting the environment? The politicians, who of course, right, the political elite is under the northern establishment. Why would they care? Why would they care? They don't address it. It's not their homes that it affects. It's not their people it affects. And as long as they keep on sucking off that oil, it doesn't occur to them to fix it. And then you want to be blaming the people there. People who don't have control over what's going on. Another crazy thing. I don't want to suffer for the actions of groups like Motekun and ESN. Again, another victim-blaming strategy. So when your people are dying, getting killed by security forces, we're supposed to blame the people that are protecting us? The ones that are fighting against them. That's who we're supposed to blame. And again, and again, and again, as so many people have mentioned on this stage, we know which ethnic groups control the political elite of Nigeria. We know which avenues and who you have to pander to rise through this elite. And we know ultimately, because of this, who the decisions of our governors, our senators, and our other politicians benefit. So why do we keep on asking, well, if your leaders really cared for you, why don't they advocate for separatism? Because they don't care. They're in their position to begin with because they don't care. And because they have climbed the Hausa Fulani political establishment. And yet people keep on asking these dumb questions. And then coming up with all sorts of revisionist histories, taking things out of context. And not accepting what is fact as fact. There are no two sides to oppression. There have never been two sides. And for people to come here and say, I've not been fair as a moderator. Frankly, I've been as fair as it can possibly be. Because for me to listen to slander against my people and other people of the south of Nigeria, because some people want to, be patted on the back and be told, I'm being unbiased because I want to support a corrupt dictatorial state founded on the oppression of my people and other people in Nigeria. It's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. And frankly, ridiculous. And I'll tell this too.
Sorry, somebody is streaming this room live on YouTube without our permission.
Yes. They asked me for my permission.
Oh, did you?
He asked me for my permission.
Okay.
He asked me for my permission. And now I've forgotten what I was going to say. But this idea that people keep pandering here, that somehow it's fairness. It's now going to side with the oppressor. I'm sorry, that's not fairness. That's not fairness. There are no two sides to oppression. There will never be two sides to oppression. And I said this earlier too. Where were all the Fulani and Hausa coming into the room to defend themselves? They're not here to defend themselves. Instead, we see as other Southerners defending them. Our own brothers defending a corrupt system that not only benefits someone else, but which actively disenfranchises their own people. They're the ones who all came in running to defend these guys. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart such that you almost go full circle and you start laughing at the amusement of it. What Enyi said is correct. Me, I'm not even bothered when I hear Hausa and Fulani come in and say all this nonsense, right? I expect them to. They're loyal to their people, you know? And frankly, they're people, much though they're people in the wrong, to them that doesn't matter. But then you have our own saboteurs who will be the first ones to defend them, you know? I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. The whole thing is very ridiculous, you know? Guys like Maknoon coming in, you know, having no energy for the herdsmen, but saying, you know, we're going to deal with all you 90% of illiterates, and the 10% will take care of you. I mean, look at the staunch, harsh rhetoric, huh? Bro, for his own people.
Will, I think it was not really good for you to stream this without permission, because I went there, I saw people saying that somebody should be killed for his view. I saw, you understand me? So,
Abdul, that thing can happen on Clubhouse regardless.
No, it's not Clubhouse. On YouTube, I saw people saying somebody should be killed for having a view.
Abdul, I'm telling you, there's such a thing can happen on any sort of social media platform.
No. Next time, you let people know
next time.
Yes. Online.
Next time. But, you know, you see the energy he has. See the energy he has for people, his own people, huh? Who are fighting for their, for their rights. Who are fighting for their lives. Calls them traitors, calls them saboteurs, calls them terrorists, calls them all sorts of things. He doesn't have the same energy. But the ones who are actively putting their lives in danger. And I say this again. The enemy, right? The enemies of our people are clear. But you know what? With enough time, huh? People forget old wounds, especially from those who they expect them from. They move on, they make up. Traitor, the saboteur, the one of your own who betrays your people. That one's never forgotten. That one is never forgotten. So all those of you of the South who keep saying, one Nigeria is the only way, the rest of us are crazy, that we're supporting terrorism and all this, history will not remember you kindly. Will not remember a single one of you kindly. And I leave it at that. I thank everyone for their participation. In this
say something before you close.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. Right. I'm sorry I missed some of the discussion, but because I'm at work and I could hear a few things. But I think we should work together as one. I think there's so much division, and one of the things that we should try and rule out mostly is a revisit, to the past. And we should just know that the past has happened. How do we move forward? Basically, both in terms of like religion, I think there's just so much religious influence in terms of the viewpoint of a lot of people, and people should be free to choose what religion they believe in. I, for example, some of the people that were passing options were saying something was not possible, just because that's what the Quran says in terms of some hadiths, but they were so he's easily willing to ignore the experiences, the personal experiences that people had, and what they were stating was their personal experience. So we need to be able to, to divide between, what should be the ultimate, from what is, what's happening. And I just want us to move forward, as one. I, for example, was brought up by my uncle as a Muslim, but I chose to become a Christian by my own, based on my own understanding, based on my own outlook on both, basically for my own reasons. And I think individuals should choose for themselves, what they believe. But I think as a nation, for us to move forward, we need to make sure that the influence of religion, is not basically what we bring to bear. It's not that, because a lot of people, like somebody had submitted before, a lot of people are using religious reasons. They're politicizing religion, and they're having success as a result of it. And you could tell from some of the opinions that people have expounded on this, that they're like, okay, it can't, even people's experiences are being denied. I mean, personally, I know the reason that I decided, okay, I was embracing Christianity. It was basically from my own point of view of, what's really the idea about, avoiding foods and whatever, that's just a bodily cleansing. How does that change the soul? But I want to say that we should look to our souls in terms of the soul of the nation. In terms of the soul of the nation, in terms of where the nation is going to, and we should forget about all this past history that has divided us, and let's forge a new country. In order to do that, I'll just finish with this. In order to do that, let's not assume anything, even democracy. Definitely we don't want military rule. Let's not assume anything. Let's start from the basis. Like, what can we do to build a new nation? What can we do to build, hope? I'm concerned about so many people, both in the north and in the south, that don't have an education. And I will just finish. This is where I finish. The people who think that it's right for a 13-year-old girl to get married have not thought about it completely, because you're depriving them of an education which you're not depriving yourself. And you are contributing to the problem. So let's think holistically about a nation, and let's make the nation work. It's our country. Some people want to secede, they want to go, and I can understand the frustration. I can understand the reason they want to, but I would say that the same problems they're trying to avoid, that kind of architecture will still be in the place that they want to do and what they want to form. And so if they don't solve the problem in Nigeria, they'll still face it, within the enclaves, that they form. But let's try and solve the problem, because I think together we're stronger.
Thank you, Victor. Last person, to speak, just because you asked, Starman. Please go ahead. After that, I'm going to wrap up the room.
Yeah, thank you. Man, I've just been listening all morning, and Jesus, man, my ear has been scratching me with some of the things I've heard. Sometimes, like, as I'm doing what I'm doing, I won't be looking at my phone, and someone will start speaking, and I'll literally, in my head, I'll just think, what manner of animal is this talking? Like, because the brain must not be fully formed. I've been listening to a lot of unity begging by force. They're begging you for unity, but they're still using force. And also, a lot of asshole lickers and bottom feeders. Two groups of unintegrous characters, and ironically, these are the two groups literally holding the zoo together right now as we speak. people that come and think that the zoo is actually a nation, and they think they can make it work, even after 61 years of things getting worse. Now, I've asked people on this platform, so how long do you think it would take to sort out this zoo? Some people have said 40 years, some people have said 100 years. And you begin to see that they are not serious. They don't even have a clue what they're talking about. It's just some sort of fantasy, And I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem begins to look like a nail. A lot of these people, all they've ever known all their lives is Nigeria. And for some reason, they have not enough imagination or logic or reasoning to try and envisage something else, something better. They'll keep fixing something that should have been discarded, trying to fix it. Meanwhile, the thing is getting worse. And when you listen to all of them, everything culminates in 2023 election. And I keep asking them, so after 2023, what next? What next? So after they vote Tinubu, because let's not even play, we already know, that's the plan. So after Tinubu enters, what next? How is all the terrorists? Yoruba or Tinubu is now in power. Is that all the terrorists pack their load and go home? Or is that how it happens? You see, I was hearing about calling of prayer, whether Fulani would let Yoruba call prayer. The irony is that these Fulani that have such an Arab agenda themselves, they won't even let them call prayer in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca. That's the irony. In the eyes of the Arabs, they are black. So all this time they are doing local Superman for us. They're just anyway. They're them sabi. And then I keep talking about brain damage, the collective brain damage of Nigerians. How you listen to someone speak fluent English, complete with phoneme, but the cognitive dissonance in 2 sentences and the following with the next 2 sentences, he'll say something now, the next sentence, cognitive dissonance, and he'll carry on talking. Just because he's hearing his own phoneme or his own big grammar, and he thinks, everybody thinks I sound intelligent. Okay. See, every time I hear Nigerians talk about, we just need good leaders, these same Nigerians, each one of them at some stage has said, if you bring Jesus Christ cannot change Nigeria. So how suddenly is good leaders going to change it? Is that not? Can you not? Why do you think I call it brain damage? You say something, you don't. First of all, you didn't even reason before you said it, and then you don't reason and you say the next thing, as if 2 of them are compatible. And then when you see the ones that are jumping up and down, PVC 2023, like some of them that have spoken here, you can tell they're just hungry political jobbers. Especially the ones that carry some people on their head, because that one has promised them one stupid political post like that, maybe councillor in one Lagos state, something. Unashamed idiot. Everybody around is hungry.
I'm sorry. Are you going to get to your point, or it's just all this is just
Victor,
just
Victor, just let him finish. Victor.
Well, I'm saying what I'm saying for it to go back and reason that everybody
to moderate this guy now. The level of insult is too much.
So that everybody can see that you get
he's suiting you. That's why you leave him.
Oh my God.
I'm saying what I'm saying because most Nigerians, most so-called Nigerians know that this nonsense. But those of you that come on here with the propaganda trying to sell false hope, you have to be called out because you're selling false hope to people that or have already seen that there is no hope. What, you think we're stupid? Some of you come on here and try and twist history, narrate
So wait, hold on. Is he even still here? I was in a room the other day. What's his name? What's
the same thing against you. I'm sorry, I don't like interrupting, but somebody can be saying the same thing against what you said. Give your reasons, not just personal attacks. Thank you.
He's giving his reasons.
Exactly. You see, their brain is sense-proof. It doesn't matter what you say. Nothing will enter. All they care about is that election and the post they'll collect to solve their hungry issues. That's all they care about. Political jobbers. Brain damage. That's what's worrying all of you. And then some of you say, forget about past history. When I hear that thing, that just tells me that's that brain damage. How can you forget about your past history? Are you mad? Is it not because people didn't know history that we're in this mess already? They are telling me to forget about my past history. And you see, to further buttress this my brain damage point about Nigerians, to further buttress this brain damage point. You see, the thing with Nigerians, with your education, you know that history was removed from your curriculum and you know it was taken away for a reason. Now you're in the 21st century, you have more smartphone in your hand with internet connection. Instead of you to go and look for your history, instead you choose to forget.
Okay. Just quickly say something about that, Will, because you remember there was a guy that was here that was talking about Tafawa Balewa and co. How far do we want to go back? Of course, we should know our history. Of course, it's important. But I'm saying as to those things that happened like way back that have just been divisive. Those things are not what we should bring into bear now as a result of just the way you saw the argument that ensued as a result of it. And it's just all it does is influence people. Of course, we should know our history, but not just what happened in the Tafawa Balewa era, not just the Usman Danfodio. Yes, we should have some understanding of it, but not forget about it in the sense that don't let it stop the future. Move forward from there. But when you make this quote, you need to also think that know that you're not the only one who has a brain. If you claim to have one, you're not the only one who has a brain. But you should actually defend the things that you say, properly. Don't just make a quote that somebody made, and then you don't have all the time in the world. I was saying it in context of the previous discussions.
Thank you, Victor. And, I'm glad you brought up this note. The reason why many people refuse to engage in the history and why these historical points are controversial is because those who benefit from the wrongs, from the crimes, from the atrocities done and littered throughout our history refuse to accept them as fact. So they can refuse to accept acknowledging that they benefit from these crimes. And these people know who they are. So
and Will, just to add something, people keep saying that Igbo land is landlocked. Igbo land is not landlocked. We have two dredging spots. We can have two deep. We have two potential deep sea ports actually. You can dredge at Onitsha. If you just on the river Niger, you can dredge there. It will now give you all the way to that Atlantic Ocean. That's the seaport there. There's also a place there's also a river, I can't remember again, that is in Quota. It is not far from the Atlantic too. It's not the United States. You can dredge that all the way to the Atlantic. So we have at least potential two potential seaports in the land that we have, of course, various railway routes because business is done in the east. We have in Aba, we have in maybe we have in Onitsha. But as you well know, these two governments want to always hold us down. They will never do it. So for those who are saying that are landlocked, we are not landlocked.
Exactly. And me, right, to finally close the room, I think, people who are still stuck on this pipe dream of one Nigeria, I really think you need to wake up and smell the coffee. The rate Nigeria is going, one Nigeria is not. It's not working for anyone. It's not going anywhere.
Anyone who really knew their history, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyone who really knew their history and understood the history and compared it to what's happening today, you will not be clamoring for one Nigeria. Simple. And also, anyone who mentions Nnamdi Kanu's name in wrong breath, know that you have an issue with me. I was not on platform when I was hearing some nonsense, but please, I beg you, please, I don't want to hear it again. This one, it will now be me and you personal. Thank you.
Nnamdi Kanu is a big idiot.
Don. Don. The only idiot.
Don, are you sorry, wait, please, just one second, please. Don, no,
you see the idiot has run away.
No, let me respond because I know a Muslim and he's so there to what's his name? Mohammed. If you want us to go down route, for
exactly
Muslims, yeah. If you want us to go down route, if you ever for that animal for calling Nnamdi Kanu my savior, yeah, whatever you believe in is a fool. For you calling Nnamdi Kanu my God, yeah, whatever that idiot believe in is a fool.
The people that want to grab our land, the person they are listening to and obeying was a rapist of children and black slaves.
Stop, man, I beg. Let's not go that far. let's not go down that rabbit hole. But I mean, the thing is, the only fools. Well, they're not the only fools. There are many fools in Nigeria and the globe. But the biggest group of fools, Nigeria, are guys like Don, still clamoring for this one Nigeria. Especially because he's not Hausa, he's not Fulani, right?
No, that guy is Fulani. That guy is Fulani. It's either Hausa or Fulani. It's either Hausa or Fulani. It's either Hausa or Fulani.
Okay. Well, at least in his case, we know why he wants one Nigeria. Because him and the rest of his political establishment benefit directly from it. So they're selfish and self-serving.
Okay, I'm getting info that he's actually an Hausa, which is even worse. So that means that he's a Fulani slave because, of course, we know how the Fulanis conquer the Hausa. So yeah, sorry.
Exactly.
No, it's true. I don't say it. It's in the books. I'm not saying anymore. It's in the books. It's there. It was written down by historians. Before we conquered the Hausa, an Hausa man can never be emir of Kanu or of a Kanu. An Hausa man can never be sort of a Sokoto on their own land, in their own land, Hausa land.
But that one is even good. So Hausa is even good stuff. They've been basically Stockholm syndromed by this Fulani for so many years. You can't even expect anything else. But when you see Yoruba or Edo people who want to be throwing their lots in with these guys, that one, I mean, it's almost hilarious. But I think we've ended on a good note. I don't think there's anything else to say. My position on the matter is clear.
Bro, wait, can I just say one last thing, please?
Yes, please. Go ahead, but quickly.
Yeah, quickly. So, some people do say that people that are clamoring for self-determination, that they want war. How on earth do we want war when we're asking for referendum? Okay, let me reason the way they're reasoning. Yes, they say that we want war and they want one Nigeria. But in one Nigeria, are they not bringing war to us? When some of them think, when they talk, they don't even reason at all that we want war because there is no referendum in the constitution. So how are you gonna get it? But they forgot that in democracy, the citizens have a social contract to withdraw that contract at any given time. You don't need to go to poll for you to change leadership, for you to change structure. Yes, I know the election is here for you to change leadership. Yes, we know. But a time will come when we say, you know what, we don't want anymore. And that is, and they can protest and come out in the city and say, we don't want this leadership again. And that will happen because of the tenets of democracy, because every citizen has got that social contract that you can fire and hire at any given time. They don't know all these things. So imagine the energy they use to clamor for 2023. What if we use that energy and say, you know what, on that day, do not cast your vote? Because that one is cheaper. Because we know that when you come out to protest, they will kill you. And when you stay at your home, then it will pass a big signal to them that we don't want this election, that let us destruction first. Let us sit on a round table. And there is something fundamental wrong with southern Nigeria. Look at Egypt. They did it. Did they carry gun? Did they carry machete? No. They came out in mass, and that was it. Whoever thought, nobody will ever believe that Mubarak will be taken out. And I was thinking that the West will protect him. But when these people came for him, there is nothing he could do. And guess what? The military did not shoot one bullet. But in Nigeria, look at what they do. And these are Nigerians killing their own Nigerians. I'm like, what do they have in their brain? The Arab Spring, look at what happened. And we, the southern Nigeria, they will tell you, always pray to God. Always go and cast your vote. Come on. Something fundamentally wrong with average southern Nigeria. Because the way they reason, honestly, I don't understand it. Okay, it's understandable that you want us to cast our vote. Why not you change the electoral system? Check it. At least you know that your vote count. I know some politicians that tell you that what they do is jamboree, that election doesn't count in Nigeria. Everybody knows that. Most politicians, they know that. And people will tell you, go and cast your vote. And some will say, that you can only live where you're popular. In Nigeria, that's where they bring all sorts of, they bring all sorts of theory just to buttress their point. You just go, cast your vote, then you also lead. But it is not the point. Nobody hates anybody. I love outside people. I don't hate anybody. But Nigeria has brought that hatred. Let us sit down and discuss on how we want to move Nigeria forward. They don't want to do that. Why are we killing ourselves? At any slight mistake, you kill people. Just because Nnamdi Kanu is carrying placard, is people talking, and you are killing them at will. And some people ignore that. What have they done? What is wrong with Nigeria? And when people talk, he said that people are agitating. Because we talk because of the anger in us. Because people made us to think this way. Okay, look at Nnamdi Kanu. Try him. In the court, you will try him. There is no way Nigeria can defeat Nnamdi Kanu in any law court. You can never defeat him. But they are scared. They are running away in their law court. And all this thing they are doing, thinking that they will break it down. But what determines them? They know what will happen if anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu. They will know that Ebos are not coward. We stand behind Nnamdi Kanu 1,000,000%.
Amen.
And I know that the DSS are listening to us. We are in diaspora. We stand behind Nnamdi Kanu, behind front, two sides, all everywhere.
Amen. Amen, brother. Amen.
We stand behind him. Try Nnamdi Kanu, you have not called, you won't try. This useless government called Nigeria. You keep on killing people, killing Ebos. And then some idiot will believe that the killing in the east is done by IPOB. And you see some Ebos saying that as well. So if you believe that all this killing in the southeast is done by IPOB, then you must believe that Mungo Park discovered in Nigeria, you must as well believe that Buhari is a white man. If you believe that IPOBs are the one killing all these people in the East, you must believe that Buhari is a white man. You don't know Nigerian government? You know, see, listen, let's tell ourselves the truth. If we want to move on, we need to sit on a round table. Nigeria can never be one because Buhari has made Ebos to be so angry. Buhari has created a massive venom in the minds of millions of Ebos that we will never forget. And
it's not only Ebos, Emmanuel. Everybody, it's not only Ebos.
My brother, I know, but I will speak for my own people. I will speak for Ebos. And the so-called naturals are supporting this evil man, and they are saying nothing. When Jonathan was in government, look at the way the northern governors were insulting Jonathan. They went to White House to cut all lies against Jonathan to Obama. But today, no southern governor has the ball to talk to Buhari. It's only Nnamdi Kanu that can challenge the system. And some of you live right here are talking down on Nnamdi Kanu. Which governor has got the balls to say what Nnamdi Kanu is saying? Governors, the ball talk, nobody. But if you were Jonathan, you see them jumping around. You see Oji Zokalo jumping around, talking like a boy, because Jonathan is a gentleman, because Jonathan fears God, because Jonathan understands what it is to be human being. It's because we Southerners are scared of the Northerners, because at any silent provocation they will kill. In the Bible you read, in the Old Testament, don't you see so many wars here? Didn't they fight? But for us, they will tell you, you are contemplating person will tell you, oh, forgive and forget. But they keep on killing us, and that's why we're scared of them. Come on, Southern Nigeria, it's up to you. But the fact is this, Nigeria can never be won. Keep on pretending. You can pretend for now till tomorrow, it will never be won.
It's not going to fight. It's about brain damage. If the side is going to fight, I think at the moment I have to be realistic with you. The side is going to fight. At the moment, they have to build. You have to build up a lot of military, facilities in the south, which has been currently denied, and so I hope it doesn't get to that stage. But if you're talking about fight, yes, people can fight with their heart, but also weaponry and warfare has moved on, and there needs to be a better military operation in the south of Nigeria. In fact, it should be there for our safety, because what's to stop people in the north from being radicalized and attacking? And a lot of the military base in Nigeria is in the north. So that is one thing that I have concerns about. That needs to be handled.
I'm trying to.
Can I say something, please?
Please go quickly, because I've just been trying to.
Okay, please, you close now. In fact, one of the biggest reasons why people are also looking to succeed, or looking for self-domination rather, apart from the reason we are giving today, one of the major reasons is security or lack of security. Now we know that when the Boko Haram thing started, let me speak. Sorry, Victor, please mute your mic. Please, mute your mic, Victor. When the Boko Haram thing started, it started in just a few states in the core north. I think which were Adamawa, Borno, and I think it's Yobe. I think so. That was where the violence started. Of course, it's all because of how they practice Islam in the north in a very extreme manner. So there are those who can take the extremity, even if not violence, in how they practice their Islam. There are those who might not go the violent way. So it depends on how you interpret what you are being taught over there. So it depends. Unlike how you have in the South, where Muslims are very calm and very, they're very nice and they are very tolerant. Anyway, this started in these 3 states for a while, but it has spread. It has even gone, in fact, the middle belt is almost finished. It is everywhere in the middle belt. It has entered the Southwest. Farms are being destroyed. In fact, we have somebody here who is in Yoruba Nation, at least the one person I know, whose farm was literally destroyed by Fulani headsmen. They have also come down to the southeast, mainly Enugu and I think Imo also. But ESN pursued them several times, even killed some of them, until the government now came hard on ESN. Now, our biggest issue we have in the southeast and the southwest, and those who are clamoring for self-determination, is that our security is being threatened. We are seeing how other states are being destroyed. There are people in the north that have not gone to their village in 6-7 years. There are people in the north who have not visited their village in a long time. They don't even know how it looks like. They don't even know if their houses are still standing in their village. Because Boko Haram has completely almost destroyed that area. And there has been the government is not doing anything about it. Sometimes they even arrest these people, rehabilitate them, put them back into society. The other day, this senator for Army Affairs, what's his name again? Ndume. He said it on live TV. I think it was channel or something. That the people who even, because there was an attack somewhere in this area, I think, I can't remember where the attack was. So he was saying that the person that didn't get the information for the attack was somebody that was rehabilitated by the army and put back into society. Some of them are even in the army themselves now. Some of them are being paid stipends by the government. How many of them have been tried and convicted? The other day, the UAE gave a list of names of those who they said are sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. Of course, we know where they are from. Nothing has been done about them. We don't know when they'll be arraigned in court. We don't even know where they are. This is the problem we're talking about, that Nigeria is not going to work because we are of different people. These guys are tolerant of the killings in their side. They are tolerant of it because if they're tolerant of it, we'll be hearing names of people who have been convicted or even sentenced to death. But we are hearing nothing. Instead, we are hearing that some of them are even put back to side, some of them are even paid. Some of them are even in government. We have some in government. Some like Isa Pantami is in government. Doing what? When Afghanistan was taken over by rebels, some of them in government were happy. They didn't notice about it. That's what we are saying. We are saying that, okay, now let me ask you something. Wait, and the rest of people who are here. If somebody who is home, let me say, because we are aware that in the north, whether their homes are destroyed or not, they don't care. Somewhere like in this middle belt, in the southwest, in the southeast, the south are things that are safe for now, but let me tell you, the southeast is a buffer, and the southwest, once they destroy, God forbid, but if they pass through us, it is you next. So we don't leave you alone. So just know that one. Okay. Now, if maybe my home now is destroyed, people came to my house and attacked me and killed my family and whatever. If I say I don't want one Nigeria, I mean, would you really blame me? Because as we speak now, we have more than 2 million people in IDP camps.
Exactly.
We have more than 2 million people. Taraba is being rolled over. Niger states lost local governments. Many. Last time I read it was 17. In fact, they have been bombing the state. They have become even some days ago. So, when we come and tell you that we are afraid for our own people, we want our own nation, Can you really blame us? Can you really say, what you're saying is wrong? Because at the end of the day, we are looking out for our own people. We don't want to die. We want to survive. So because you want to hold this so-called contraption, you want to hold this disgrace of a country together, that means you want to know who bustle in. Is it because your own will have already been destroyed? Is it because you can still go back to your home? When millions of people in Nigeria cannot go back to their villages, they have lost their homes. We have Yoruba people who are in the Benin Republic who ran away from their homes. We have Yorubas, they are going to us now. As any Obama, we have their people who are in other countries because of Fulani men and terrorists. Just the other day in the news, we heard that some part of Southern Kaduna, Boko Haram has taken over there because there were killings happening there. The government did not. So if those people not come and say they want their own nation, we will blame them because the government does not protect them. It's just simple mathematics. It's not hard.
Exactly. No, it's I'm glad you summed that up very clearly. You know, it's already hard enough to rule multi-ethnic states, much less dysfunctional multi-ethnic states that benefit predominantly one group. But at this point, I think it's just preaching to the choir. Thank everyone for listening. Thank everyone for contributing to this discussion. My position is clear. Free Nnamdi Kanu, Biafra Kwanu. So, take care, everybody.